I can't believe this is finally happening. We've been waiting for so long. So much has happened. So many people lost. Yet here we are, ladies and gents. Update 1.3 is actually at our doorsteps, and it's actually happening. I'm not kidding. This is real this time around. CD Projekt Red came in with the official announcement. We have a first glimpse at what patch 1.3 looks like, at some of the upcoming changes, including for the first time ever a working GPS system that actually auto zooms out your minimap when you're driving vehicles. Can you believe that? I surely can, because we already had a ton of mods that were already doing these, but we're gonna check the biggest changes coming in fresh. And of course, this doesn't include the patch notes. Those will drop very soon according to CDPR, so let's jump right into it. Starting things off, of course, with what's new in Night City, the newscaster report kind of blog post that for some reason CDPR finds funny to post. I also find it funny. I just laughed, but not for the reason you think. I'm actually laughing. These are not tears of joy, by the way. These are tears of sadness, of resentment and complacency, I guess. I think that's how you call it. Nonetheless, welcome to another special report by N54 News. I'm gonna skip a lot of this, by the way. If you want to read the fluff, I don't really care about it. I'm gonna start things off right with the changes right here, with the first one, of course, being that minimap zone. Here's a video of it in action, because it's not like mods didn't already work like this, but here it is in the game. It works. It zooms out as you drive faster and faster. To those who are uninitiated, it basically gives you a better understanding of what's ahead, especially if you have to make a turn to the left or to the right. Now you can actually see the roads coming up a little bit sooner, so that you can better adjust your speed with the vehicle and better take those turns instead of crashing into cars and into buildings all the damn time. So I'm glad that they finally copied the modders' homework. I'm glad that this actually happens. I'm not kidding, by the way. Again, you think I'm kidding, but I'm actually grateful that these changes finally make it into the game, even though they were supposed to be there since day one. Funny enough, they also got a bit of lore here explaining this a little bit, but you can go ahead and read it because I don't really care about that. Now, another thing that is changing with update 1.3 is the no more clouded judgment during the Clouds mission. You know, the mission with what was their name? Yeah, Sky and Angel. You know, everybody picked Angel during that mission, even though everybody meant to pick Sky simply because they didn't pay attention to the screen. So there's a change happening here. Now you get the screen for the remainder of that dialogue option right here, so you know who goddamn Angel is and completely avoid it. Unless you kind of go in that direction, I have no problem with that. You can totally pick Angel. I picked Angel the first time. I didn't regret it, but I did reload the save file just to see Sky, and I think Sky was the better experience, but for a whole different reason than you believe it is. But anyway, let's keep on going with the Swiss Army Merc section. It's obvious that Night City changes everybody, but judging by the record numbers of personal coaches registering their offices citywide, it would seem that mental adjustments are becoming just as popular as new implants. Now, it sounds a bit more complicated than what it is. It's actually just a reset perk option that we now have straight into the perk menu. So you no longer have to go to like shops and buy a tabula rasa item. You can just reset your items, well, sorry, your perks right here from the main menu screen. And it also costs way less. In this case, we have a max level character, and it only costs a little bit over 13,000 eddies to do so, at least for what seems to be the first time. I would imagine that this compounds later on if you do it repeatedly, so it will increase in price later on, kind of like how it is with other similar mechanics in the game. But I was kind of hoping for something different, because the tabula rasa already kind of achieves this. It just costs a little bit more, and you have to travel to a vendor NPC to buy one. But I was kind of hoping for a mechanic for us to reset the attribute points instead. You know, the big categories like athletics, reflexes, body, and all of that. I was kind of hoping that this would be the case, but it is not, and it's still set in stone. So a bit disappointed here, not gonna lie, but at least for convenience sake, it adds a little bit more to that. Not so sure about immersiveness, I guess. And nonetheless, as usual, mercs are pioneers in terms of honing and modifying their skill sets. In pursuit of versatility, they are willing to spend a small fortune to ensure they have everything they need to deal with the gig at hand. This new trend clearly impacted the market, as demand for the once popular tabula rasa shards plummeted in favor of hiring personal coaches. So yeah, basically what I'm taking from this is that the tabula rasa shard will likely become obsolete. I'm not sure if they're gonna fully remove it from the game. I think it would make sense to avoid confusion, especially for new players or for those who don't really know what that item did, because I imagine it would now be a waste of money to go and purchase that without knowing that you have a reset button right there in the main menu. I'm not sure who would not notice that because it's a really big button, but there are people out there of all sorts of origins, so I still expect that to happen. Like, I fully imagine a few complaints on the forums if that's gonna be the case. Now, Ripper docs seem to be largely unaffected by the news. Even though this market shift negatively affects their bottom line, they claim they never considered this an important part of their revenue, and personal coaching will not make cyberware obsolete in the long run. Also, I believe this is Robert Dr. Chrome Rainwater Ripper doc. So I've been dealing with mercs for a long time now. They are perfect customers who always know what they want and never complain about the price. I'm actually happy to see this trend of taking care of one's own body. As you can see, I'm not a cyberware user myself, and I always make a point to remind my clients that as much as implants are useful time and lifesavers, personal development is much more important. And there you kind of have it. So yeah, this is kind of it with the glimpse at the new update. Now I know what you're thinking. Your next thought is that it? Is that literally it? We've been waiting for 2 months and updates 1.3 is this? Because I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm kind of disappointed. Like, these are their big bangers, their big, well, glimpses and teasers of the new update, and I'm kind of disappointed myself. It's such a letdown to wait for so long. Now, in CDPR's defense, it doesn't seem that these are the biggest changes coming in update 1.3. There's actually bigger and a lot more coming in with the patch notes that they will announce soon, though I will say that I find it strange that they are announcing these ones and teasing these ones if they have even bigger ones, because it doesn't really make any sense. But at the start of the article, they are explaining this, so though they're not the biggest ones and there will be more to come as soon as more documents get declassified, we are excited to give you a sneak peek at what's coming, and I guess they have chosen these changes. I kind of get, the immersive portion of it, and just CD Projekt Red kind of having fun with the fan base, but if this is their idea of communicating updates and patch notes, I don't think this is the right way of doing it. I think that this should be done after a very lengthy and kind of very prosperous patch list of changes that are a little bit more significant than, a minimap zoom that was already done via mods for over 6 months at this point. And as a matter of fact, there was a mod that I featured a week ago or a couple of weeks ago that already did that the same way in the game. I guess they probably got that inspiration and already added that in the game. I can't imagine requiring over 2 months of work to implement a minimap zoom, assuming that this is their big banger for the new update. So all in all, it feels disappointing, it feels like a waste of time, and most important, because they choose to show it in this manner, it kind of feels as a slap in the face. To me personally, you don't have to feel the same, but I think that these types of fluff blog posts and jokes should be done after a big, lengthy, and very copious patch note list that truly changes the game. Now, even if you compare this with the previous update 1.2, they also did this back then, this seems like significantly less than that. There's only 3 changes in total. Previously, update 1.2 kind of featured the highlights as well in a similar fashion, like the change they have done to the police, the change they have done to the car handling, another one to wobbling the car and getting it unstuck. But literally once the updates dropped, those were the biggest changes in them, and everything else was just as you would expect, performance fixes, bug fixes, and stuff that was super wrong with the game. Not to say that there weren't other highlights in there that were on top of what was shown in these types of what's new in Night City events. There were a few of them in there, but nothing too significant. So if you were expecting a DLC to drop with this update, It's not happening, boys. This ain't it. Now, this also kind of makes me think that they might actually just put this update like right here out of the blue, last second scraps, so they can actually buy some time before the DLC. Like, I believe they're just bundling everything up in a DLC this fall. We've talked about these DLCs, we've talked about the possibility for CDPR to bundle everything up in that and kind of make everything in that. So I think that that content might be wrapped up in one single bigger expansion or DLC, whatever they call it, a little bit later. I'm not sure, it kind of looks a little bit grim. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.